Welcome back to the channel. Today we have got this Honda CBR900 Fireblade. We're going to be doing a little bit of a review on it and what to look out for as a buyer's guide. So let's go through sort of some of the problems or some of the things you should be looking out for if you're going to be in the market for one of these. Which, if you are, I don't blame you, they are a nice bike. It is Honda and they're pretty bulletproof, although there is a few little things you need to look out for. So probably the main one I would say is when you start the engine from cold, hear for any rattling. That would give you an indication that maybe the cam chain tensioner might be doing, which is very common on these bikes. But it start with like hearing rattling noises on the first start out for a few seconds, and then as it gets worse, it will rattle all the time to a point where if you just leave it, it will end up jumping teeth on the old sprockets on the cam chain, and then you've got disaster. So that's one of the things to look out for. Now, if that is the case, I wouldn't be put off, especially if it's not rattling all the time. To me, that's just a bargaining point to get the bike cheaper. Anything over 20,000 miles is going to sort of, you know, be in that territory for a new cam chain. And if you do get a new cam chain, I would suggest you get a manual tensioner. Now, if you are pretty capable, you could fix it yourself, but if not, I highly recommend and suggest that you actually take it to a proper shop and get it done properly, as if you ever tighten it or leave it too loose, again, that could be bad news. So another common things I've come across on these is noisy clutches. So again, it's not end of the world, it's more annoying than it is anything else. But when you start it up and it's idling, you might hear a chattering noise. Now if you do hear that, to pinpoint it is the clutch, all you need to do whilst the bike's running is pull the clutch in, and if that noise goes, then you know it's the clutch. Sometimes you can feel the vibration through the bike, you know, like the handlebars and the foot pegs. But again, it's not necessarily a big problem, it just indicates there's a bit of wear on the clutch. Maybe one day we'll go into all that and actually do a video of why it chatters. It's not just on these bikes are more common, but it's on other models as well, especially like Ducatis for instance, which that's just standard. Let's move on to the next thing. So this bike is fitted with a HISS, H-I-S-S, and they are pretty good systems, to be fair. Sorry, I have something going on in the background. Someone might walk in halfway through as well. But anyway, HISS HISS system's pretty good, but you want to check to make sure you've got both keys. Because if you lose a key and you don't have any more, you're going to have an issue. Check the key itself. Now the chip is in that little insert. It should probably be hard to see that, but see if Ash can pick it up on the camera. Yep. Nice one. Make sure that's in there. And obviously make sure none of this is damaged. The actual HISS system itself. But to be fair, again, I've not really experienced much problems, and when I have, it's just been basic stuff. I remember I had a newer CBR, I can't remember what one it was, 600RR, something like a 2003. It just turned out to be a battery terminal that was loose and it was upsetting the HISS system. So if we have got a problem, maybe check that. Anyway, moving on to the next thing. Now, when these bikes first come out, obviously this was the takeover from the carbureted model. Now when they changed over to the FI, fuel injection, they were obviously in the early days of fuel injection, and they were quite renowned to have an erratic throttle response. Now, to get over this, if it hasn't been done already, you can fit a power commander which will iron out and make the throttle response a lot smoother. So basically it's just remapping the ECU and making things run better. Another thing, suspension. Now, the suspension on this bike obviously is old. You know, the bike's what, 24 years old now, so it's not just, you know, old, but it's been used and worn. You can upgrade it to the front springs and the rear shocks to O-limbs, Showa or WP. That is a night and day difference if you do that. But that's about it really. Oh, well, one more thing actually, charging systems. Now Honda, as you may know, if you're into your bikes, always suffer from rectifiers and stators. It's a round known thing, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's down to where the rectifier's situated because half the time it's at the rear of the bike so it doesn't get any airflow, overheats, mounts everything, no charging. I would suggest, if you're going to buy one, I would take a multimeter with you and check the charging, which might be a bit extreme, you might not even know how to do it, or maybe take a bike for a good ride and leave the headlights on, even if you have to have it on full beam to use as much power as possible, just to make sure the bike is charging, and then once you turn the bike off, turn it back on, start it, make sure it starts fine. That would be a good indication to make sure the bike is actually charging okay. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to do a little walk rounds, and then we'll take it for a test ride. So keep tuned.
First thing I noticed, headstock bearings are not cheap. Makes the whole ride awful. Shame.
So that's the test ride and the review and buyer's guide over. So what did I think of it? Yeah, it was alright, it was smooth. You know, it's a Honda. Hondas are pretty bulletproof. I did notice what did actually really stand out was how rough it was, or spluttery at low RPM when you're giving it throttle or acceleration. When I was riding it, because I haven't checked before, I thought to myself, this one hasn't got the actual
Power Commander.
Yeah, that's the one. Cheers Ash. Power Commander fitted, and when I checked it hadn't, and you can actually really tell the difference, to be honest. So if you have got one of these bikes or you're looking to buy one, either fit a Power Commander or see if it's fitted already, which make things easier for you. Yeah, performance wise, it performs pretty well. For like a sports bike compared to other things of its generation, like the R1s, the GSXRs, ZXRs, I would say it is actually down a bit on power. But again, earlier in the review we was on about it's only got 125 at the rear wheel, even though it's claimed 150 brake horsepower, but that's more likely at the crank. But all in all, I do like it. It is a good bike. This one needs headstock bearings doing, which was a bit of a shame. But I have ridden plenty of these bikes before and I do enjoy them, and I can say if you are looking for one, you know, I can't really argue the case really. But if it is speed you're looking for and something to, you know, have great thrills on, then you might be wanting to look elsewhere at something like a GSXR or ZXR.
Maybe look at changing chain and sprockets to give you a little bit more low end.
Yeah, because that's what it misses. And to be honest with you, I find the older blades,
the carb
models, yeah, I find them a bit more responsive, to be honest.
Yeah. And
a bit more smoother lower down. But you can't deny it is a good bike, like literally.
Typical Honda, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, the customer who owns this went straight from a 125, you might not even know this, straight to this.
Really?
Yeah, he passed his test, because I was going to sell him a 600, but I don't know, something happened, I couldn't find the logbook, or never had a logbook, and had to apply for it, and he didn't want to wait. So he went out and bought this instead, and I was like, wow, that is, you know, that's a pretty
keen.
And it was like a YBR 125. But yeah, what else can I say? That's about it really. Maybe the suspension is a bit outdated now.
It feels a bit
Yeah.
Fade than it
What was the
compares.
mileage on it? Can you remember?
It's not very high, I don't think.
Like 34?
Tell you.
Because I'm wondering, you know, like if it's done 34,000 miles, then the suspension is going to be worn out a little bit.
Yeah, it was 34.
Alright.
Well,
Good memory.
yeah.
Shame I can't remember where I put things. Glasses or tools.
Keys.
Yeah, keys, don't go there. Anyway, that's about all I can say really. Quality wise, like paint wise, they're pretty good. The wheels normally are pretty good, because you find on a lot of bikes, especially like Suzuki's, are the same sort of year. The wheels, the paint's really thin and
Kawasaki are bad as well.
yeah. But the actual paintwork and the aluminium as well is decent aluminium. You don't really see many corroding unless they're poorly looked after. But yeah, anything you can think of adding?
Not off the top of my head.
No, just a shame about the headstock bearings on this one. Anyway, keep tunes, make sure you like, share and subscribe. Now what I'm going to say, if you have any questions, like serious questions, rather than commenting on the actual videos, which you can, that's fair enough, go to our website or Facebook page, Motorcycle Repair Tool Bay, and send a message through there, because we're more likely to pick it up easier. But other than that, ride safe. If you're looking for one of these or you've got one, hope it all goes well, and see you next time.